Thank you very much for tuning in to Pro Life Nova Scotia. Here we're talking about women's rights. The right to what? The right to kill my own baby. I have my body, my choice. If I want to kill my own baby, I can go in there and dash the baby into the womb so that it will die and come out in blood and all this stuff. And if I want to have, 6 or 7 boyfriends, I can just take the pill and the baby will not come out of my birth canal. Oh, okay. That is not women's rights. Okay, what is women's rights? Pro Life Nova Scotia respects women very, very much, and don't, for example, we're not misogynists or anything like that. You don't have a uterus, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I certainly don't. I certainly do not have a uterus, but that child is 50% mine. That child is 50% mine. My wonderful children here. It's hot here. I'm wiping the sweat off on my forehead. The baby is 50% mine, so I got a say in this. All right, so this whole nonsense that feminists put forth. So what is women's right? The women have a right when she goes into that doctor's office to be educated about what that pill actually does. All right, so let me say that again. So the woman has a right to the education and informed consent about what that pill actually does. What does the pill actually do? Well, it doesn't prevent pregnancy. It doesn't prevent ovulation. All right, the baby is successfully conceived. It's a viable pregnancy. It's a very beautiful boy or girl, baby boy, baby girl. The pregnancy is successful, and that's a very, very wonderful thing, except for the fact that the pill will alter the endometrium and cause the baby to die, which is extremely terrible, right? So an early abortion is still an abortion. It's still a baby. There's still a death. There's still a tangible loss to our society. It would have just been better if that woman would have just kept her knickers, right? So, keep your knickers on. I mean, it's a fair statement. Keep your knickers on until the baby is, there's a house, there's a marriage, there's a baby, right? The father and the mother, mommy, daddy, baby. There's no more beautiful thing, right? In our society, the number one thing is a family, right? You have a father, right? You have a mother. I there is the legal framework under Canadian law is flawed because it does not agree with medical science, and that's the problem, a serious problem here. The law doesn't agree with medical science. The law doesn't agree with the evidence, or agree. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. What I should say is that there is evidence, right? The evidence is clear. There's a baby. The baby has been conceived. It's it's the most valuable asset in the world, right? There are no more valuable assets in the world, right? The baby is the number one most important thing. It's more important than the tallest mountain to the deepest trench, right? There is no greater value on this earth than the embryo, right? The embryo is the most important thing, right? So this is the most egregious crime, is that they are destroying embryos, right? And my family is directly responsible for. Hey, every time I say that, it just sends a shiver up and down my spine, man. Just imagine that my grandfather died in the war. If he would have seen what he was fighting for, he certainly is turned around in his grave, right? It's truly, truly egregious what a member of my family has done. Dr. Michel Dow is a member of my family, and I speak, for my family, and to say that, she does not represent our interests, and we are so extremely sorry for your tangible loss. If you have been fooled by Dr. Michel Dow, you have suffered a tangible loss that it goes beyond any kind of words, right? So the words cannot express your loss. You are a loser. What do I mean by that? It means that you have lost something so incredibly valuable. You are a loser. I'm not like joking. You're a loser. No. I'm not joking. You are a loser. You've lost a baby, right? You have lost as a father. Let's say, for example, your girlfriend that you were with, was on these birth control pills. You failed as a father. You failed as a father because you should have protected your child. And who paid the ultimate price? Of course, is the baby. The baby paid the ultimate price. He was a wonderful, fully intact set of DNA. That DNA was beyond any kind of value. The embryo is truly the most valuable thing. Women's rights. We are empowering women today through Pro-Life Nova Scotia is to understand that the best, most important thing here is not to take birth control pills and sell the Dr. Michelle Dow sells a lifestyle of debauchery, and you can just have this boyfriend and that boyfriend, and that's the thing too. Sending your daughter off to college and putting her on birth control pills, as a father of that girl, you are killing your own grandchildren. You are killing your own grandchildren, 100%. So, when the law does not agree with medical science, our society is doomed to fail. And this is not sustainable, right? Something will happen and it will be a collapse, because you cannot have this thing when it is so abundantly clear. But see, the people refuse. They cannot accept it. They cannot accept such evil. What is the evil thing? Well, these people in the pharmaceutical industry, yeah, okay, sure. The pill does stop a baby from being born, and that is the ultimate goal here. They just want to enjoy sexual relations with, boyfriends or partners or whatever, and live in that kind of, debauchery. I mean, it's terrible, but whatever. And they don't want to be accountable, right? And then this pill is the destruction of our society. Birth control pills has so many different consequences, and one of those consequences is that very, very early sexual relations, right? See, these girls are young, very, very young, having boyfriends, right? And these pills will, oh, well, I'm on the pill anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can just, experience that kind of sinful wickedness, right? Fornication, right? If you want to go into the theological realm, right? It's a sin against your own body and all this stuff, right? It's a sin against your own body. I mean, if you don't go into the theological, then you know that it will hurt that person, the female, because it will. She will develop an attraction and in a physical, emotional connection to their partner, and then she will go to another partner and another partner where that bond is just broken. It's just a severed intimacy, right? The intimacy is completely severed, and there's no actual feelings and all this stuff. So you can go theological if you want, you can go secular if you want. There is no justifiable reason that a young woman should be having multiple partners. At all. You just keep your knickers on until the marriage, right? That's the whole point of marriage, and that's why our society is falling apart. So let's say, for example, a young man, can he get with one of these, feminists that has a whole bunch of partners? Why would he want to do that, right? Maybe she's a single mom at that time, right? She breaks up with the husband and expects child support and all this stuff. That kind of society is doomed to fail. Your foundation, the foundation of the society, does not agree with itself. It doesn't even agree with logic and reason or medical science and embryology, right? So that's the point. Thank you very much for tuning into Pro-Life Nova Scotia. So the point is, Dr. Michelle Dow is guilty of this crime. I am a member of Michelle Dow's family. I am so incredibly sorry for the immense damage that my family has bestowed upon the people in our community, and something's got to be pointed out here. And what has to be pointed out is that medical science and embryology is clear, and the Canadian law system, which govern our policy and all this stuff, refuses to acknowledge the truth. Therefore, it is a flawed judicial system that has been brought into disrepute. Now, and we all know, or if you don't know, that a judicial system that has been brought into disrepute is the recipe for this is the society. It's a recipe for the disaster. It's a recipe for the society to be brought into a serious disaster. It has so the low birth rates and immigration, and it's going to be a complete replacement, right? The replacement is already underway, and we see that, but we just have to accept the truth. So that's part of where we are right now. We are. We've identified the problem. We've identified the well. I don't know if there's any kind of solution in the law. So we've looked at the possibility of criminal indictments. Right, that's not going to happen. Right, it's already been decriminalized. You can kill, and people will. You will be. She was on the national news from coast to coast to coast, all the way up to the Arctic Ocean, to the Pacific Ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean, and people just say, wow, what a pillar of our society. She's a great family doctor. Family doctor? That is the most perverse use of that word that I've ever heard in my whole life. A family doctor. A family that kills embryos. They destroy the embryo, the most precious and most valuable thing. I have to understand how these people work, right? These people are killing embryos. They're killing a baby. Right? So this crime is the number one greatest crime that has ever happened. Right? There is no greater crime. Right? And the Hippocratic Oath, of course, would the Hippocratic Oath. What else we got? The unborn human embryo has intrinsic. Intrinsic moral worth. Did you take any steps to warn about the fertilization that could happen while on the pill, and that the drug might prevent the embryo from implanting? Can you point to any written medical documentation explaining the drug's mechanism of action? Have you ever prescribed similar medication and later regretted it based on ethical reflections or outcomes? Did you knowingly omit mention of the abortifacient potential of the birth control pills when speaking to the patient? Certainly, right? So that's the problem, is that there's trickery. There's trickery, right? There's a deception. It cannot be. Let's say, for example, there would be a woman, a reasonable woman, okay? So she's got a job and she's raising, maybe 2 children, but 3 children. Maybe she's got 2 or 3 kids, and she said, well, I got a lot of kids. Maybe, for example, she has a husband, and it's a reasonable, respectable woman. Okay, let's say, for example, just for example, it has happened. Okay, so you got this woman. She goes into Dr. Michel's office, and she says, okay, I'd like to talk about birth control pills, because we have kids that are going crazy. I just want to kind of focus on my job and focus on... Oh, okay. Well, so the thing about that is, I'll give you some birth control pills, no problem, but the thing about that is, ovulation can still occur. Ovulation can still occur, and you can become pregnant. The baby will die at the later stage of implantation. Okay, so this baby boy or baby girl that you have conceived will be aborted, right? And so there is the mechanism of action of this birth control pill, the IUD, or type of ring kind of thing that you put inside of the woman, and the pill there that they take, It does suppress the ovulation. Nobody's saying that. Okay, it does suppress the ovulation, but not 100%. But there is another mechanism of action, and that mechanism of action will be that it will kill the baby at the later stage of implantation, right? So, do you think that woman would agree to pay for the death of her own child, right? I would put forward that no, right? She would not, knowing that. And let's say, for example, the husband were there, and the husband would be listening into this conversation. He would... So what kind of rodeo cowboy is going on here? What kind of clown costume are you wearing here? This thing? Yeah, she's an imposter, right? That's not a doctor. What kind of doctor does that kind of stuff? Right? The whole medical industry, it's just my opinion, but I think we should start from scratch. I was saying, there should be advancements and all this stuff, but the whole thing is backwards, right? You should... we gotta go. It's late. 14 minutes, I gotta... there's so many things, right? You go on and on. Pro-life Nova Scotia. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, the baby is the most important thing in the world, right? What is Nova Scotia? Well, it's the people.